Muddy Boots.
Today's Muddy Boots is all about fungi, specifically mycorrhizal fungi, the type that attaches itself to your plant's root system to help that plant in a myriad of ways that will astound you. Think about roots and clay. They don't go very well together. But if the plant whose roots are being stopped by the clay is lucky enough to host some mycorrhizal fungi mycelium, I know, big words, but we'll explain, it will thrive. Today we're going to learn about this process and the product that you can buy to get it started with Tim Lester from BioStim. I have much to learn myself, so let's get started. Hello, Tim.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome. We would love you to tell us all about this wonderful natural plant saviour, so please do.
Yeah, mycorrhizal fungi's been around for about 450 million years, so nothing new. Basically, when you look at any plant in the environment, you'll sort of see that we're not applying fertiliser, we're not applying pesticides, it seems to do it right by itself. So what's happening is there's the symbiotic relationship between fungi in the soil and the plant. The plant releases sugars, and in exchange, the fungi go out and grab nutrients and water and feed that back to the plant. So there's a natural benefit from both sides. They expand the plant root zone by 400% or so.
Wow.
That's basically how it works.
Fantastic. Now, we sort of worked together many years ago when I was hardware manager for the Diggers Club, and I came across your product, and from there on it's just been an absolute ripper. And now I've left Diggers, retired from Diggers, and running my own businesses, and of course on every one of my landscape designs there is a set of specifications which includes your beautiful MycoGold product. So it's just fantastic.
That's the name, MycoGold. So please tell us about MycoGold and why we need MycoGold to add it to our gardens.
Well, you don't normally do. If your soils are fairly healthy and you're doing things like cover crops and you're keeping green manure crops going in your garden, the endemic fungi in the soil will live. But the problem is we sort of disturb the soils. We kill the plant life. We apply chemicals. We, don't look after the microbial life in the soil. So all MycoGold does, or any mycorrhizal product does, is add back those fungi to help kickstart the process. This is basically a small amount that you're adding to sort of get the process going, and it naturally grows by itself.
Yeah. Okay, so in your MycoGold, there are fungal spores. Now, not every one of those fungal spores will have an association with a specific plant, will it?
No.
So that's why how many different types you got in there?
Well, we basically break it up into two main types. So there's endomycorrhiza and ectomycorrhiza. Endo is the more common one, which is 70 to 80% of plants in the world have that sort of association. And we've got a mix of 4 species in there to sort of grab onto the species that they like.
Yep.
And then we've got a mix of spores plus hyphae, or basically spores are sort of like a hard seed. Mm-hmm. So they're very impervious to chemicals. And while the hyphae are sort of like plant cuttings. So they're very fast growing and can quickly add on, grab onto plant roots and grow. So we've got a mixture of both. We've got the spores, which are the really hard-wearing type component, plus the hyphae. And mixing them two together, we sort of get a good combination that's likely to inoculate in the soil.
Okay.
Right, so you've got endo and ectomycorrhizal fungi, and then you've got trichoderma, and then you've got a bacteria in there as well, is there?
Yeah, so the most common one there is a very scientific, all the stuff that we show, but because that's what I am. I'm not really a salesy type person, as people sort of know. I don't really get out there and sell things. I'm more into the science of it. And so you'll see these weird sort of combinations of bacteria especially and fungi. So yeah, trichoderma is naturally found in the soil, and it has a myriad of effects. A lot of it I'm not allowed to say, but because it's not registered as a pesticide. But yeah, we've got a small amount of that, and we've got another one there called Bacillus subtilis, which is sort of like before penicillin. This is what we used to control things. So it's got other benefits as well. It's quite good for nitrogen fixation. So there's a whole myriad of things in there that I'm sort of trying to cover a whole heap of bases. Because in nature, we don't just apply, there's not just one type of microbe running around the soil.
Yeah.
And it just feels a little bit disingenuous to only apply one particular microbe and think it's going to work in all conditions and all crops. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yes, so the MycoGold you sell to commercially, so to farmers and to businesses, but our listeners the majority of them are home gardeners. So it's also available to the home gardener, and it's something that I think Keith uses in all of your, as you said before, you use in all of your designs now, you add to your designs. How should the home gardener apply it to their garden? I mean, we just sort of assume that it's something that can be with all of those different spores, thank you.
Hyphae, yep.
How does it? Is it something that we should apply to everything? How does it work? How do we apply it?
There's myriad of ways to apply it, but for me, I'm an agronomist, which is like agriculture. I like to do bang for your buck, so I like to start there. So if you can get it on really early in the plant growth cycle, like in the seedling stage, you can just apply it via a watering can, mix it into a watering can, and then apply it over the seedlings.
So put the plant in the garden and add it, or put it in the hole and add, how simple as that.
Yeah, in the seedling trays, depending how you're sort of doing it. But if you can add it directly to the root zone, that's the second best option, or just fertigating over the top and then watering it in with a hose. But the earlier you can get it on, the smaller the amount that you need, because it's not like everyone treats it like a chemical or a fertiliser, but this is a living organism. So if you can get it to inoculate with the plant early on, it's like you're naturally keep applying it throughout the whole plant growth cycle.
And it's
a nasty product to sell because, theoretically I don't keep selling it to people because it can continue to grow itself.
Right. So it's only really needs to be applied in the beginning, and that's it.
Yep.
The early stages.
But if you sometimes I reapply myself if there's adverse conditions. I sort of like to do that around spring when I've got, excess growth, and then that means when you see green growth on top, that means the root growth is quite fresh and abundant. Yep. So that's when I like to reapply a little bit if I think I need it.
And can it be applied to pot plants? Can it be applied to everything? Can it go?
As long as there's a mycorrhizal association. So things that aren't compatible are things like brassicas or orchids. I get orchid growers contacting me all the time saying, can you apply it? And I'm saying, well, there's some small benefits, but I don't think it's really beneficial, so I don't recommend it to them.
Okay.
Yeah, so
because there's a different type of mycorrhizal fungi.
Yeah, I'll often sort of mention the fact that the MycoGold is never going to work with brassicas, and when we're talking about brassicas, we're talking about broccoli, cabbages, collies, these sorts of things. So it's a real waste of time telling people to put those in, put that association with those. And the reason for that, why doesn't that work?
There's other ones as well, like blueberries as well. They've got their own special type of fungi that we don't have in the product. Well, we've done the sort of science on it, and we found that they don't create these relationships with these particular species. So that's just through evolution. They're on a different tree compared to everything else.
Right.
So everything in biology sort of comes back to evolution along the road. So they've definitely come along a different pathway. So they haven't built these associations with mycorrhizal fungi. It seems a bit weird, like it seems like a free lunch on both sides.
Yeah.
So you're like, well, why haven't they? Well, we don't exactly have the science to back this up why, but maybe one day we'll work it out.
Okay.
Now, what is the percentage that we have actually of natural mycorrhizal fungi in our soils now? Do you know is there a percentage that we've actually left with here in Australia, roughly?
It really depends. Like if you've got soil that's like if you go out to any forest or anything like that, you'll sort of see it working. Like you can just scratch the surface away and you'll see it abundant. And you look at the trees and you're like, wow, these things are doing great.
Working,
and so in that situation, you don't really need to apply it. You've got the natural endemic fungi there working away, doing the job, but that's built over multiple generations of plant succession to build up those mycorrhizal fungi. And what we do is we go and clear all that area. We leave it barren for X amount of years or whatever days, and then the fungi die off, and then if they're left for too long, they can't actually regenerate because they're not dropping spores. Those spores will actually die over time.
Right.
So if we, yeah.
And we're spraying with chemicals and doing all those sorts of things and just killing it off even worse, even more.
Yeah, it's a real shame that we're really going the wrong way around about going to get good agricultural results, aren't we? Doing it that way.
Yeah.
And we're trying to turn it around, aren't we?
We are.
We're trying to turn it around.
Yeah. So it's just a matter of understanding. Like everyone just can't see microbes because they're under the soil.
Yeah.
Like it's like it's hidden, and you can get away with it by just applying fertiliser.
Yeah.
Soluble fertiliser will skip the need for mycorrhizal fungi because you're applying food directly to the plant. But that's a hard game to keep playing. Like, are you applying the right amount to the plant, or are you just applying it a one-off? Like a slow release sort of does a bit better job, but it's still not exactly what the plant needs.
No.
So then you're going to get runoff of nutrients, which then causes other problems.
Blooms, yep.
Yep, and you're not feeding the plant correctly.
Yeah.
And so then it grows weak because you've got the wrong amount of nitrogen going into the plant. Like, we don't know these things. I'm an agronomist and I don't know them. How much nitrate nitrogen should you be putting into a plant? Like, yes, on day 26 of, after planting, we don't know that.
Yeah.
We're not that in tune. But mycorrhizal fungi and the plant, they're in tune. They've got $450 million years of working together. They know how much they want, and they govern each other by how much sugar the plant drops down to how much the fungi selectively go out and grab those nutrients and make them available for the plant.
That is amazing.
Fantastic.
Oh my God. Everybody, you've got to get this stuff. MycoGold. Tim, where can they get it from? Where can the home gardener get it from?
Well, they can get it from Digger Seeds. That's, where Keith used to work. They've been very good to me because I'm not very a salesy type person, so I need people like Keith.
Stop it.
Yeah, so Keith, was very good to me early on and, helped me out there because I'm more of a scientist. I don't really, I'm not really into the sales type side and the marketing type side, and so Keith helped me out there. And
I'm going to tell them if you don't tell them. Come on. What about BioStim?
Yeah, so that's just my little website that I run. And people can go on there and purchase if they decide. But there's other people you can purchase through as well, and it's just up to you to decide if it's the right option for you.
You're not very good salesman.
I know. I want to direct everybody to BioStim. So what is the website? It is biostim.com.au. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, so people can go onto the website and they can buy it directly from there. So I think that's the easiest way, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it's fine.
And then it's a matter of knowing how much to buy.
Yeah,
that sort of thing.
That's something that if we could just ascertain here now, Tim. I'm specifying it, so many grams per square metre, but I'm generally saying that it's to be put in the hole, before the plant goes in, and the plant goes on top, and then it's all watered through, so forth. What rates do you sort of suggest that it should be put out at?
Again, it's a very hard thing to ascertain because you've got a living product. Mm-hmm. So any amount is good, actually.
Yep.
Assuming you don't have adverse conditions like drought or high chemical use, because it'll grow with the plant. Mm-hmm. So as long as you're getting it in contact with that root zone, small amounts will work. It just takes longer for it to inoculate. Mm-hmm. So I sort of work off in nurseries about 0.38 grams per litre of, and then from there we sort of scale it up.
Yep.
Like to 1 gram per square metre or 5 grams per square metre, or in the whole, like it's half a gram.
Yep.
That's very small amount.
It's a very small amount.
Yeah.
So therefore it's incredibly, cost effective when you look at it that way, comparing to, sticking in fertiliser and all the rest of these high-end amendment things. So that's just fantastic.
Can it be applied to lawns is what I was going to ask?
Yes. But again, when people just apply it, and you need to really water it into that root zone. Mm. So that's where we need to get it activated. If you just apply it on the surface and, just leave it there, the UV light will get to it and
Destroy it.
knock out a large So you need
water.
It's fine adding it to lawn, but I'm an agronomist, so I don't see much value in lawns as much as food and stuff like that. So yes, it does drive me a little bit insane, but I know people care about lawns. Yes, so it does. It's got a beneficial ingredient there. Yeah.
And I've got to personally thank you and all my people that come to my talks for the free samples that you happen to send for me to share with those people, and I hope you're getting something back out of that. You've been a great help to me. It's just very hard for me to do that side of the, speaking to people and working out what they need and how it all works together for them. So it's been a great help with your talks. I get great feedback from your talks as well. People say, "Oh yeah, I spoke to Keith," and so that's why I've always liked to support you in what you do. And I tell people all the time, go to your talks and see what you've got to offer, and
go on his account.
And I'm glad that you're doing well with your consulting business as well. Like that's
going really, really well. As I said, it's an add-on, to the results of my products once they've been constructed, is to ensure that I can walk away knowing that all the soil amendments have been put in there, so we're giving that garden the absolute best opportunity to absolutely thrive. That's how I look at it. And it's education that is coming from that as well, because every one of my designs, I'll go through and explain this to the clients why I've put these particular amendments into that soil profile. So it's a win-win situation for everyone as far as I'm concerned.
This has been fantastic. What an amazing product. We have all got to get that product. So thank you so much, Tim. It's just makes complete sense. It's been fascinating to talk to you, even though you're not a salesman. You're an agronomist, but I think you've done quite well. We appreciate your time so much. And please, everyone, do go and check out biostim.com.au and look out for MycoGold. Incredible stuff.
Thank you very much, Tim, for coming on. I've been hassling you over this, but it's been wonderful, and I hope that our listeners get a great load of enjoyment out of listening to just how beneficial this beautiful product is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, guys.
So thank you.
For the opportunity.
All right, mate.
See you
Thanks
soon.
a lot.
Bye.
Bye.
Muddy Boots.